Well, I'm excited to be joined by two guys that mean a lot to the organization, mean a lot to me personally, and to have you guys together. I appreciate you guys taking the time. What I'd like to do here, I want to kind of start at the beginning and walk through kind of current day and just kind of dive in and talk about all the experiences you guys have together. And I want to start when...
In 3 minutes?
In 3 minutes.
Maybe 4.5.
Okay.
But I want to start when you guys came in the organization. You come in differently. Yadier, you come in drafted. Waino, you come in a big trade, the big name in the trade. There's pressure on both of those. You come in having two brothers, been in Major League Baseball, and kind of having that name and that on your back. Waino, you come in, with that trade. What's that like coming into the Cardinal Organization? To take me back to your first few days of coming in.
First of all, the first time I met when I was facing him in minor league, like a year before we get together in Memphis. And I was like, this dude for real. And then we hired him, we made that deal for him. I was like, wow, we got a good guy, And then I met him, I was disappointed, I'm sorry. So we got together in Memphis, I was like, wow, this guy's for real. And then they called me on the next year in 2006. This guy was ready to go, and then I was just glad to have him on that team, and then we did it. We won that championship, and that was awesome.
What's it like for you?
You nailed it.
Yeah.
Good for me to be traded over, for one thing, because just where I was in the Braves organization, a top prospect, but didn't make a good name for myself within the organization. I was really late every day and didn't work hard, and got a chance to get a fresh start over here. And so I got to come over here and be around some really, really great people that for the first time, I was around great people over there too. I just didn't listen to them. I didn't pay attention enough. And over here, I got the chance to kind of start over. And in 2004 is when we started playing together in spring training. Funny thing was the Cardinals AA team was the one that gave me fits. The Cardinals High A team the year before in Potomac was the easiest team I've ever faced in my entire life. And they were like a high school team with Skip Schumacher on it.
Of course.
And then the next year, their team was really loaded. And Bucky, what was Bucky's last name?
Jacobson.
Bucky Jacobson and
Papa Bolivar.
Yeah,
all those guys.
Yadi and there was a little infielder that was really good too.
Cosme.
Yeah, Cosme.
Cosme.
Yep. And there was and Skip was in center field, and the whole team was all-stars, and they were really tough. They gave me fits. The manager was DJ, and he was tough to pitch against because he'd let you know about stuff, talking to you out on the field. But getting to come over here and throw to Yadi right away was a different experience. I'd never seen a catcher like that before, ever.
Even at that age, still had a lot of development to do, but still at that, you knew right away.
Yeah, I knew right away, and what was cool is that when I was with the Braves organization, all coming up, I always called every pitch and never let the catcher call anything. And in fact, if the catcher called something, I'd figure out a reason why that wasn't the right pitch and call something else. And Yadi, I remember one of our first games, he pulled me aside and said, "Hey, you need to trust me. You need to stay with me right here, and I know what I'm doing, and we can call this game together." And it was really great for me to hear.
And that was easy for me to go to him and talk, because in the past you have some guys that they don't want to listen, and then for me, barely I know the language, and then it's hard for me to communicate with the pitcher at that time. But he make it easy. I mean, he was a nice person to me, and that's why we still brothers. Because if he give me some trouble back then, right now I was like, but no, back then it was, he take care of me a lot, and I'm glad for that.
So early on, almost every player has a moment or somebody that's really had an impact on their career, and typically early on. And with you having your brothers in the game, but they weren't here with you in the organization. And I know Dave Ricketts means a lot to you, and I know I've heard a lot of stories of how Ricketts kind of took you from being a young stiff catcher to really helping you stretch and open you up that way. And Adam, you talk about how coming over here you were late and you didn't do things the right way. Well, something had to shift on that. So what was that helped you, and was that somebody here?
For me, it was, Dave Ricketts was the person that changed my life. Obviously, when I came over here, my dad, my mom, they all helped me out there. But knowing the game, knowing calling game, knowing about the catcher, the position of the catcher, Dave Ricketts did a good job. I'm just so glad to be here with them and spending much time with him. He gave me a tough time, because he cared. And at that time, I didn't understand that, but I'm so thankful, so glad that I was there for him, with him at that
And
time.
what were some of those things he was tough on you?
First of all, when you had to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, seven days a week, that's tough. And then other stuff, the mental part, he teach me to be a real man, like a grown man. And then all the different stuff, he pushed me so hard, because he really wanted me to be the best. And at the first I didn't understand, and then the soon I got it, I was like, wow, I want to be next to him forever.
Yeah. And you know that story, I'm sure, of Mike Matheny tells of Dave Ricketts picked him up one day. You were in minor league camp and puts him on the golf cart and says, "Come here," and he takes you back and says, "This is the future best catcher in baseball." And Mike said, "I'm looking at this guy and he can't squat. He's stiff. His hands are pretty good, but I'm looking at it like, what are you talking about?" And he's like, and surely, he was able to see it that far ahead and just knew that there was some things to work on, but he knew he could break through and get to that.
Yeah, he got so much patience with me. I mean, he helped me out. He helped me a lot. He pushed me so hard, but at the same time, he got patient with me, and he worked with me on both sides. He worked in physical and mentally, and big thank you for
I think one thing a message that needs to be heard probably is that Yadi and I had something in common, that he and I came straight from Little League, middle school, high school, right into professional baseball, like a lot of us did. But, when you're thrown into a situation where you're 17, 18 years old, you don't have any parents around for the first time ever, you're a product of who you hang around. And it can be a hard challenge. It's just like going off to college, right? I mean, guys that come out of college they take pro ball a little easier sometimes because they've been in a format where you've got to be here at class, you got to be here at practice on time. The coach kind of teaches you how to run and do all that stuff and be a hard worker sometimes, and then you come over here. But when you don't have that sort of in high school or anything, and you just get thrown right into a professional baseball situation where the best athletes in the world are all competing,
And you just got a signing bonus.
Yeah, you just got a lot of money for the first time. You never had two nickels to rub together in your life, and all of a sudden now you've been given money. There could be a lot of things to distract you in that. So your question was who made a difference on me. And when I was traded over here, I was traded with Jason Marquis. And a lot of the times you hear me talk about Carp and his influence in me, and some of the other pitchers. But what the story I really don't do a good enough job of telling is that Jason Marquis really took me under his wing and made me go to the field with him. And after practice every day, we would hang out and we would talk, and he'd never let me pay for anything, and he made sure I was on time. And
this is spring training. This is prior to making the team.
Spring training, yeah. In 2004, I mean, I was still a year and a half away from being in the big leagues. But guys like Jason really made a big impact on me. They taught me how to be a professional, and those other names, Chris Carpenter and Woody Williams and Jeff Suppan and Matt Morris, all those guys had their own roles. And Braden Looper, they had their roles in teaching me little things here, little things there to kind of piece me into what you become. But, without great people around you as an 18, 19, 20-year-old kid with lots of distractions left and right, I mean, it's hard to stay focused sometimes. You need those older guys to shepherd you into the right direction sometimes.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, obviously, you gotta have the attitude to listen and understand what's going on. And if you got the bad attitude, it's gonna take you a while to get where you want to be. But if you got the right attitude, to listen and to work hard, like that, you're gonna be where you want to be like sooner than later.
So you guys make it to the big leagues. Yadi, you're there a little bit earlier. What is that like when you first get there? There's still obviously a lot of adjustments that need to be made. And Yadi, you're there in 04 when you're going to the World Series. Waino, you come up at the end of 05 and then 06 have a huge role in that run there. But what's that first few years of trying to, you guys are big names at this point. You are big prospects to come up and kind of adapt and adjust to the major league level and fit into a team that has a lot of veterans on them?
I mean, for me, it was easy. I mean, because we got guys around us that take care of us. I mean, the only thing I had to be worried is about playing the game, and I know how to play the game. Um, so I was lucky enough to have guys like Tony and Dave Duncan that help me out, and Okendo, Pujols, all those veterans that take care of me. Like tell me, hey, this is how we prepare to win the game, and that was the hard part. But playing the game was simple for me. I mean, because I know how to play the game.
And those teams back then were so different than our teams now. I mean, if you looked around the whole field, it was like an average of 32, 33, 34 years old. I mean, Reggie Sanders, Larry Walker, you had
Tony Womack.
Tony Womack.
Yeah.
Albert was one of the young guys.
Yeah.
You had
Scott Rollins,
Mark Kruzalanek and Edgar Renneria and Mike Matheny and all these people, that were there when we first got here. And the pitching staff was, all super veteran guys.
Woody, Matt Morris, Mulder, all those guys, Supan.
In the bullpen, you had Izzy and Cal Eldred. Cal was 40. You had Julian Tavares, all these guys. I mean, it was just Yadi and I are ancient compared to all these guys, and we had a whole team of those dudes. It was just a different time, and they, like Yadi said, they really took care of us. They really kind of showed us the way, because we don't get to where we are right now without great people leading us there.
So you go to 06. That year, everybody knows that team was not the best team coming in. You guys kind of squeak in at the end, and then all of a sudden catch fire. I feel like people think that World Series ended in New York. They forget about the next series that happened in Detroit, because that series was so incredible. But talk about that a little bit. There's that playoff and that experience you had there, and then what it's like to be a young player to step up on that stage amongst David Eckstein and guys like that on the team that have huge names and reputations already.
I think for me it was, sometimes you got a really good season that you can win the division for 10 games, and then you get relaxed for a couple week, and then not in OC we were fighting, and the whole day, every game means something, and then we get to the playoff, and like everything shift. Like, okay, we've been fighting for the whole year. Now we just had to keep playing the same way we've been doing the whole year, and that's what we did. Back in San Diego, the first division series, that was, winning 2 games over there. That was like, wow, we really can do this. And then we got the right time. We get hot in the right time, and that's how we did.
That at bat in New York, is that one of your best memories?
Yes.
In your whole career?
Yeah. Basically, like for me, being from Puerto Rico, and then that team in OCs, it's like 20 guys in New York Met that's been from Puerto Rico, 20 players, like in the whole system. Bertrand, Delgado, Tony Valentin, all those guys. So Puerto Rico is like basically they're rooting for the Mets to win. And then only my family was rooting for me. And then when I hit that homer, everybody was like quiet. The Shea Stadium, the New York Stadium, or the Mets Stadium was quiet. Even in Puerto Rico, everybody was quiet. And then, but it was a great moment for me, great moment for our team, for our city, for everybody. I'm going to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I still sometimes almost cry. Like, I don't know how I did it. Chair was like, hey, look for changeup. I was thinking fastball. They told me hanging changeup. I hit it out. I was like,
Aaron Heilman.
Yeah, yes. I was like, this is really happening. Like, and then, of course, it happened. And we did it. We won.
Mm-hmm. What I remember is going down the stretch. First of all, you had to remember we had Pujols, Scott Rowland, and Jim Edmonds in the middle of the lineup.
Yes.
Which, to piece along with all the other incredible players we had, but you need 3 big guys to get it done. And we had 3 of the biggest guys there were at that time. Those guys are superstars. Right in the middle of the lineup. And we could not win a game down the stretch. We couldn't win a game. And we ended up winning on the last day because John Smoltz shut out the Astros. Mm-hmm. We didn't even win. We didn't win our game. He shut out the Astros.
No, Carp.
Oh, Carp shut. That's right. Yeah,
Carp did it.
Carp shut out somebody with a 2-hitter.
Yes. Yeah, Carp, complete game, shut out. Yeah, 2-hit.
Yeah, and then Smoltz beat the Braves. And we won by like half a game.
Phillies.
The Phillies? Small, yeah,
Yeah,
sorry.
Philly beat the
Clearly
Braves.
empty.
That's right. The Braves beat the Phillies.
Yeah,
There we go.
the Philly beat the Braves.
No,
Yes.
Smoltz was pitching with the Braves.
No, the Philly won the game, and
You're
Freddie
thinking-
Freeman. Freddie
You're
Freeman.
thinking 11.
Oh, yeah, that was 11.
Oh, that was a lot. Oh,
Yeah, so
We'll get
Smoltz,
there, we'll get
Smoltz
there.
shuts the Astros out. And,
Clark.
huh?
Clark.
No, Smoltz.
Carp
The
was
Braves.
11 too.
He-
Carp shut
Oh,
out.
that was
Houston.
a.
Yeah, that was 11.
Why I'm confusing?
Yeah, that's okay.
Been playing a long
I
time,
don't
man.
think we
A lot
won
of
our
games.
game in 06. Pretty sure we lost. But
We
then-
lost the last game.
We did. And
Yeah.
Smoltz shut out the Astros.
I remember.
So we only won because they got us in. But I remember the feeling, as soon as we knew that we won, it was like, oh, now we go. I mean, it was like, we were playing so tense and tight. And with this really, I mean, we really did have an incredible team, to put on the field. And then as soon as we got in, it was like, oh, now they're all in big trouble, because we knew we were good. And now we have nothing to lose because nobody's expecting us to win now.
That's right.
And as soon as we got in, we were super dangerous.
And then you taking over for a guy that, one, was your mentor, and two, one of the biggest closers in Cardinal history, because of an injury, and you taking over that role on that stage. What was that like?
Well, I remember in September was when that happened. And the first opportunity went to Braden Looper. And Braden blew the save his first opportunity. And then the next, we didn't win games for, seemed like a week. And then the next opportunity was against the Brewers at home at Busch Stadium. And we were down 2-0. Scott Spezio came up with the bases loaded. And he hit a bases clearing triple with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th inning to go up 3-2. And then the next guy got out right away. Well, Braden was on the mound warming up. He was going to go in and pitch at the top of the 9th when we were losing. And I remember the phone rang, and it said, sit Braden down, get Adam up. And that was my first real save opportunity. If you look back, it'll say like I had 4 save opportunities, but that's just, how that goes. As a reliever, you pitch early in the game, you blow the lead in the 7th. So that was my first real save opportunity. And I remember thinking, there's 2 outs. All right, this is awesome. Let's run. And I threw 3 pitches. And I went in and I closed the game out 1-2-3. We went 1-2-3 and closed it out. And I threw 3 warm-up pitches, and I didn't need one of them. I had so much adrenaline going. I was so fired up and so ready to pitch in that game that they were not going to tie that game up. It was already over.
Trying 97, 96.
Stop.
And then that carries you into, I mean, obviously you do well there, and that carries you into the whole playoffs. So is it a situation where you don't even know what's happening? You're just kind of, you're in the game all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden you're the closer. You're having to answer questions about it, but you're just rolling because you're in the postseason. Not too much time to think and worry about the situation you're in.
And it made sense to me because that year, as you know my story, I pitched every game like it was the last game of the World Series all season long. And then in the postseason, I just did the same thing. So it was like easy to me in my mind, like I was supposed to do it because I was too young to really know how hard the game can be sometimes. Sometimes young players have an advantage because they don't really know how hard things can be sometimes. And they're just supposed to. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to win. It's no big deal, right? And that's a good lesson to learn, and it's a good mindset to have. And so for me, it was like big whoop, it's another day at the ballpark. Of course I was supposed to. Kind of like Yadi said, I mean, we were put into position to succeed. Dave Duncan and Tony did such a good job of bringing me along slowly and putting me in that moment when I was ready for it, as opposed to just throwing me in there, without being prepared. I was prepared for that moment, so I succeeded.
So did 06 change your career by winning that? Does it change? Does things change after that? Does it? One, are you a young player that kind of you're early on in your career, you go to the World Series, you win it, you think this is going to happen every year? Or do you think if you would have lost in 06, it would have created a different hunger or exposure? How did that 06 World Series change you guys early on in your careers?
For me, it changed a lot. I mean, obviously in both sides. I mean, like I got, like in 04, I was still like a young guy, like in 05, 06, and then I got a really tough season in 06, like the regular season, like hitting, offensive side, that I didn't find myself hitting. I mean, I was doing good about catching and calling game, whatever, but after that playoff in 06, that we won everything, and then I was like, and this is all about. And then I started learning about my offensive side. That's when my career went up on that part.
Yeah, I think it's still my biggest moment, is New York. It's probably maybe one of his too. And we need to have some more moments, Yadi.
Yes, I know.
It's been a long time since
Let's
we've
go.
had some.
Oh, we go.
But, some people say, oh, that's sad. Your best moment is your rookie year. And I was like, yeah, we still won the World Series. That's not too sad. Don't feel too bad for me. I've still had some really good moments since then. But I think what you need at Busch Stadium with our great Cardinal fans, if you have a moment like David Freese. David was with us for, 3 or 4 years?
Yeah.
You'll never be forgotten in St. Louis. And he'll probably be a Cardinal Hall of Famer because of that moment. And we don't win the World Series without David Freese, so as it should be. But there's guys like that have had moments, those when Ozzie Smith hit that home run. If Ozzie Smith had been an all-star every year but not hit the dramatic home run, he wouldn't have been known for, the same. He would have been known as the Wizard, and he wasn't great. But he had those moments, those big-time moments. Will McGee had moments. Bob Gibson had tons of moments, So when you have that one moment, the Cardinal fans never forget you. And they borderline give you a standing O everywhere you go. If you have something great like that happen, our fans were just so incredible. So it changed our careers because it put us on the path to success, and it put us in a different frame of mind with our fans. They looked at us like, these guys are winners. These guys are championships. I remember somebody told me, I think it was Tony, after Tony won that World Series, Bob Gibson walked up to him and said, hey, welcome to the Cardinals, now that he had won.
Yeah.
He'd been there for years. He's like, oh, now you're a Cardinal.
Yeah, I remember him saying that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So how different was 11? And I know, Adam, for you it was a lot different, but you having a few more years under experience, how different was it for both of you guys through that year?
Different, obviously different team. We got some young guys, like a bunch of young guys that can really play the game, and they know how to play the game. That 11 was up and down too. I remember we were talking about early. We confusing the day, but we still at the last game on the regular season. The car throw the shutout.
That was against the Astros.
Yeah, against the Astros. And we were watching the TV in Houston in the clubhouse, and we waiting for the Braves to beat or Philly beat the Braves. I don't know who. So we were watching that game, and then when they end the game over there, we start celebrating. And it was like, wow, we did it! Did it again. Now we go. Like the same thing happened in 11. Same thing happened in 06. Same thing happened in 11. The soon we know that we got in, that was game over for everyone.
I think that might have been the best celebration we've ever had too.
Yeah, because we knew. Everybody knew.
We went nuts.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Everybody knew, like, if we got the team that if we got a chance to get in the playoff, they're gonna be in trouble, and that's what happened.
What people don't know is that the only reason we won, more than David Freese and all that, was because of me and you eating those magic fruit snacks.
We ate a lot of them.
We had magic fruit snacks that Kyle and I would eat, especially in Philly. We crushed some magic fruit snacks. He and I brought out a thing. He and I weren't playing, so we had fruit snacks we were eating on the team. Come on guys, fire it up, let's go, we can do it, or whatever. Fruit snack. We'd score around and be like, these are magic fruit snacks. And so every time we needed a rally, we'd run inside, get some fruit snacks, and hey, you better eat your fruit snacks. By the end of it, we were like, fruit snacks.
We ate thousands of calories.
We worked it. We won the game.
It worked.
Yeah. Hey, that series, let me tell you, that series against Philly, that was one of the best series I ever played. I mean, that game 5, that was unbelievable.
And we were down by 1. We were down 1 game, right? Lost the first game. Second game, Cliff Lee was winning 4-0.
Yeah.
Cliff Lee was incredible.
Yeah, and then we
came
back.
back and won. Yeah. I mean, if we go down 2-0, it's over. It's probably over against that team.
So what have you guys learned from each other throughout your careers? Biggest takeaway from Adam, and Adam, biggest takeaway from Yadi?
I think to be a better person, that's why he teach me. Be a better person, better teammate, better family man. I mean, I'm so glad to be next to him. I love this man like my brother, and he knows. He knows. But I mean, that's what I learned. I mean, obviously I know what type of player he is and how he cares about the team and everything. But outside the line, he teach me a lot. So I'm just thankful to have him. Thank you, bro.
Give me some. I think what Yadi's just shown me so much is that no matter how great you are, you got to keep working. Professionalism that comes with Yadier. You know, everybody that comes over here, they said, I got here at 6 a.m. and when I got here, he was in the cage doing these little receiving drills with his bare hand. And he's already been there, and he's already sweating. And he's like, I thought I was being early. And it's just, Yadi never stops trying to get great at this game, you know?
I don't like to take anything for granted. I mean, I would like to enjoy this game. Obviously, it's some point it's going to end it. And I just want to keep doing it, you know, the long as I can. I don't take anything for granted.
Did that come from Albert? Because that, to me, of all the people I played with, that was the most impressive thing about Albert to me.
Yeah, he worked
He was
hard.
the best
Yeah.
in the game, and he still never acted like it. Is that where it came from?
I think so. And the mentality that Dave Rickett was a big part in that too. And Okendo, you know, Cheito Okendo. They pushed me so hard about being working. You get this, don't take it for granted. Just keep working. You want to get this the next year, and the next year you want to do this, whatever. So I always remember that. Yeah, I mean, you can get like one gold glove 1 year, but if you just sit down and get comfortable, I mean, you're not gonna get to the next level, and that's what happened with me. I want to get more and more and more.
Last year we were sitting on the couch in the film room, me and Jed Jerko and Matt Carpenter and a couple other people. And Yadi just got hit in the face, and he got hit in the knee, and he got hit in the you-know-what. And we're like, man, this dude just takes a beating. What is he going to feel like when he's 65 years old, you know, just thinking about his aches and pains? And Jed goes, I don't know, he's probably going to have like 2 hits and, you know, and played 135 games. And it's like, you know, you're probably right. This guy, he's like, at some point it's going to end. I don't know. It might not end. I mean, the guy just is incredible. He's got an Energizer Bunny battery inside of him at all times.
He will. I don't like to think about it, but it will be. Oh, we know. But, I mean, I don't like to think about it.
You look at the Cardinals over the years, and there's so many guys that are staples, that are names that people remember and still talk about in the clubhouse 15, 20 years from now. You guys are going to be that. You set the standard for catching and what that looks like in the Cardinal organization from a leadership standpoint and things that you've accomplished in your career. What does that mean to you guys to know that you're still going to be, even though you won't be in that locker room in 20 years maybe in a player's uniform, you're still going to be talked about almost on a daily basis?
And that's great. I mean, that's a great honor to have. You know, that's why we work hard. That's how we do the right things. We do the right thing because you want to be remembered and to be a good example for the young guys, for your son, for your family, for your teammates, for whatever. And that's the way I think it. I mean, I'm working hard because I want to put a good example just for this team, for this organization, and for your family, and to people to remember that I was working hard for them.
Yeah, I think he nailed it. What matters to me is that when people look back, they go, yeah, he was a good player. The man was a great teammate. You know, that's important to me. I think that's important to Yadi. I mean, that's just knowing that we were there for guys. So we didn't turn our backs on anybody, that we were always there, you know, if they needed us. That's more important.
So post-career, I know you don't want to talk about it. It's going to come at some point. One of the things that set the Cardinals apart, I think, from a lot of organizations is you still have guys that come back. Ozzie's in camp, Carp's in camp. Guys come back, they're around during the season. They still have, you know, the Cardinals Hall of Fame and things like that. Do you envision being involved post-career and coming to spring trainings and still showing up in St. Louis and being a part of that?
Yeah, I will. We love this game so much that, I mean, even when I retire, I would love to come back and try to teach the young guy, because that's us. I mean, we love it so much that they pay me to be here. Obviously, this is a job, but I love being here. I love being that kid. I love teaching. I love every second to be here, out here, talking with old guys like Waino, talking with your coaches. You know, like, I just love it. I mean, I could do it every day.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't add anything to that. You know, when I get opportunities to teach what we've learned over the years, I love doing that. I could not be a 9 to 5 or a 10 to midnight coach like
That's
these
right.
guys are. Our coaches put in so many hours.
So much, yeah.
It is
More
incredible.
than players.
Way more than players. I got too many kids for that. I got too many kids. Yeah, we both got too many kids for that. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you want to spend time with your family, but
Right.
also if you got the chance to come over here to the cases, in my case, to go with the catchers and teach you what I've been told in the past. I mean, that's awesome. That I would do that.
yeah, that sort of is what we're made for. I think. Is
Yeah,
a little bit.
it is.
Yeah, but the Cardinal fans, I think it's going to be good for our souls to go back and see them every now and then. Maybe throw out a first pitch or whatever. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate your guys' time. Appreciate everything you've done for the game, for me personally, for the organization. You guys are two of the best, and it's been fun to sit down and chat with you guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Kyle.
you. Thank you.